I'll be speaking to us on a topic that says study your growth pattern. Study your growth pattern. Now, when you study the move of God in your generation, it has a way of blessing you. Are you there? In such a way that you will also be a blessing to others. That is, when you study the move of God in a generation, it will help you. At least you'll be a blessing to others. When you study the move of God in others, especially God's generals, it will also help you because there are many things you will learn from their lives which will make you a blessing. But most importantly, you must study the move of God in your own life. Are you saying that? There are there are many people that have nothing to say that can help their generation. They have nothing to offer to their generation that can be a blessing to them. Why? Because they have not studied the move of God in their life. There is something God is doing in your life that you must pay attention to. There's something God is doing in your life that you must study. Are you there? There are certain periods in life that the only thing that can bless your audience is when you share your own personal experience with the Lord with them. That's the Sometimes that's the only thing your audience want to relate with. Apart from telling them what God did with this man of God, that woman of God, what God did in this period of time, that year, many years ago, they also want to know what God did to you and what God did in you. But if you don't study the move of God, you will discover you will have nothing to say in the day when they call you for counsel. You'll just be telling them stories that are not too relevant to what is happening to them. When you show people the move of God in your life, it will encourage them more than just telling them the move of God in others. This is why we must diligently study what God is doing within us. That is why a man can be married, in the will of God and yet not be able to teach others how to get the will of God. There are many people who got married in the will of God, but if you call them to come and counsel, to come and teach on marriage, they can't say anything. Why? They did not study the move of God in their lives. How God brought that will of God, how God brought that lady, that brother to them. They did not study it, so they have nothing to teach. Are you there? If you really want to be a blessing to your generation, you need to study the move of God in your life. It's very important. Now, that is why a man can marry right. Yet, if you tell such a man to teach on marriage, he may have nothing to say if he has not carefully studied the move of God in his own life. Take your time to study what God is doing inside of you. It is not enough to know what God is doing in others. You need to also take your time to study what the Lord is doing inside of you. That's very important. It will not only help you to be a blessing to others, it will also help you to appreciate and acknowledge God. Are you there? When your eyes is open to see what God is doing inside of you, it will not only help you to be a blessing, but it will also help you to acknowledge God. You will see reasons to thank God. Are you getting it? You must understand that there will always be a time in your life where the only thing your audience want to relate with is the move of God, is the dealings of God over your life. They want to hear your own experience in the faith. Enough of telling them about that man, that woman, what happened so day. That no, tell them also about what God is doing or what God has done in your life. Let them understand what God is doing in you. That will encourage them more. I want to encourage us as ministers of the gospel. Let us, study carefully what the Lord is doing in us. Because a time will come that the only thing we will need to encourage others is to share with them what the Lord has done to us, the dealings of God over our lives. And as they hear those things that God has done to us, they will be encouraged. I pray the Lord helps us in the name of Jesus.